Okay, good morning, guys. How are you doing today? Good morning, online. Online, good morning. Okay, good. Yes, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Okay, hope everyone are doing good. Mm, so what did we discuss in our last class? Images and key pair. Yes, images and then key pair. So what is an image? Copy of the OS, copy of the operating system is called an image. What is a snapshot? Copy of the volume is called the snapshot. Okay. So if you take an image that it includes volumes also, answer is yes. Okay. from from where do you create the image? What is the source of the image? EC2 instance. From EC2 instance, you create a image. From image again, what you create? EC2 instance. If you are creating the images by us manually, what is that AMI called? Custom AMI. So if you are creating automatically, then it is called golden AMI. And what is the feature that you use to create golden AMIs? EC2 image builder. Very good. So by default, these AMIs are public or private? Private. Can you copy the AMI from one region to other region? One account to another account? Where are the public images are available? Which place is that? Marketplace. What is a key pair? It is used to retrieve the password of the EC2 instance, or you can say it is a combination of public key and then private key. Public key and private key. So what is the extension of the key pair? .pem. So .pem is a public key or private key? Private key. Who has public key? AWS has a public. And what is the default username for Windows? Administrator. And what is the default username for Linux? EC2 minus user. I call it as minus. You call it as dash hyphen whatever it is. Okay. And then one key pair can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time. Yes. And one EC2 instance can have how many key pairs attached? Only one. Okay. Is it good to lose the key pair? No, don't lose the key pair. Okay. And yeah, that should be fine. Yes. Good. What else? Any questions there? Any questions on images and key pair? All good? Good now. Okay. So how many questions I ask also you'll answer for sure. So let's move on to the next topic here. So today's topic. Okay. So can we delete the key pair? I mean, that is a question for me, Prashant. So once the key pair is attached to the EC2 instance, can you remove it off? No. Once it is that, it is attached. Can you create multiple key pairs? Can you delete the key pairs? Yes, you can delete the key pairs. You can create the key pairs also. If you delete it, can you log into the EC2? Can you retrieve the password? You cannot retrieve the password. So don't delete it. And one small announcement. So Offline few people are absent today, but that's fine. So every one of you has scanned. Have you done the registration? Everyone scanned? Anyone is pending? Everyone did online? How about you online? So those who have not scanned and registered, right? Please check with your admin and then get it scanned, please. Okay. That is one thing that I have been asked to say that. What is scanned, sir? What is that? Registration form, huh? That registration form here, when you're joining the Google form, Google form, yes, Google form. Okay. Mm. So that Google form, those who have not scanned and then uploaded, so please check with your admin and then get it done. Okay. Okay. All right. So can you please confirm? Can you see my screen and can you hear me well? So before going to that important topic, so let's finish up one small topic, which is not that important, but it is good to know. Okay. So the topic is called cluster networking instances. What is it? Cluster networking instances. So generally, can you tell me what is cluster? Cluster, generally, what is cluster? Group of servers. What is a group of servers are called? Cluster. What is a cluster? Group of servers, we call it as cluster. So here, what are the servers called? EC2 instance. No, can we say the group of EC2 instances, we call it as cluster? And by the way, why do we need group? Okay, now, so if you want to have a good performance, then we'll group it. Yes or no? In our college days also, right? If something happened with the other team, will you go with singular? Will you go with group? You go with the group. So with single you have good performance, or with the group you have good performance? With group you have good performance. Correct? And also in that group, is it good to have same kind of people or different one small, one short, one LKG guy, one 10th class guy, different people or same size people? You have good okay, same size people, right? So first of all, we need to have why we need to have a group is in order to have a good performance. If you want to have a good performance, group it. Let's say we have EC2 instances. So what the okay, whenever you launch the EC2 instances, will it go, let's say you go and launch 10 EC2 instances. How many? 10. This 10 EC2 instances will go and sit in the same host or different hosts? Different hosts, no? Okay. So what if you keep all this EC2 instance in the same rack, same host, same availability zones? The speed between the EC2 instance will be faster or not? We are all sitting in the same room. So the communication is really good. If you're sitting in some other room, the communication is good? No. Where you have good performance? In the same room or different rooms? Same room. Similarly here also. But there is a problem here. If you want super high performance, be in the same room. But if something happened to this room, everyone are gone. Single point of failure. Yes or no? So before going a little bit deeper here, what is cluster? Cluster means a group of EC2 instances. Cluster meaning is a group of servers. What are the servers called here? EC2 instances. No. This group is called placement group. What group? Louder. Placement group, very important. So what is this group called here? Placement group. And also I'll write here, when you launch a When you launch a new EC2 instance, the EC2 service will place the instances such a way that all your instances are spread out across different hardwares. That is what we know. Agree, right? Guys, what I wrote? When you launch a new EC2 instance, what will happen? EC2 service with EC2 service place your instances in different hardwares. Yes or no? Okay. Now, instead of not going with somewhere different hardwares, what we do is, basically, we have three types of placement group. How many types of placement groups are there? Three types. Number one, we call it as cluster placement group. Which one? Louder. Cluster placement group. And second one, we call it as spread placement group. And third one, we call it as partition placement group. So these three are the placement group. How many placement groups are there? Three. What are those? Cluster placement group, spread placement group, partition placement group. So let us talk about each and every group now. Cluster placement group meaning you are grouping the EC2 instances in the same availability zone in the backend, same rack. You know what is rack? Shelf. So you have the host machines in the same shelf. So the EC2 instances are next to next. So the performance will be high or low? Super high. But what happens if that rack goes down? All are gone. So you'll get a super high performance, but high availability is little bit low. But the rack will go down, which is handled by AWS. No, but there is a chance. So in cluster placement group, you are placing the EC2 instance in the same availability zone, same rack. And what is the result of it? You will get a high performance, but low high availability. You're getting it? So, okay, next one is spread placement group. So spread meaning your EC2 instances in the same availability zones are different availability zones are. Different meaning here spread. Spread placement group meaning your EC2 instances are placed in different availability zones and then you're grouping it. The first one, cluster placement group, is you are placing the EC2 instance in the same availability zone, you're grouping it. I'm putting in this group, same group. In the same availability zone, same rack. But whereas in spread placement group, you're spreading the EC2 instance across availability zones. I'll have few in 1A, few in 1B, few in 1C, and then I'll group across availability zone. You tell me here. Do you have a super high performance compared to cluster placement group for spread? No. But high availability? Yes. Ulta. You're getting it. Now, if I ask a question, I have an application which is super critical. It should never go down. So which placement group will you choose? Spread. But it should never go down, no? Right? If you need to have a high performance, then which placement group would you choose? You're getting it. In spread placement group, how many availability zones are there in Mumbai? 3 availability zones. In each availability zone, you can have maximum 7 EC2 instances. How many? You can have maximum 7. In total, how many EC2 instances you can have for spread placement group? In total, 21. Each availability zone, 7. 3 available, 7 3s are 21. So you are restricted with only 21 EC2 instances to group it across multiple availability zones. But if you need to have hundreds of EC2 instances in different hardwares in across availability zone, then go with the partition placement group. Which one? Partition meaning you can have maximum 7 partitions. How many partitions you can have? 7. In each partition, you can have hundreds of EC2 instances. I'll write one by one. So what is cluster, Rana? Cluster placement meaning grouping the EC2 instances in the same grouping the EC2 instances in same single availability zone and same rack. And you'll have a high performance, low HA. Now spread placement group, grouping EC2 instances across availability zones. So this one you have a high availability, high HA. And can you please critical applications here? Yes. And per availability zone, how many EC2 instances you can have? How many? 7 instances. So in partition basement group, EC2 instances are, this is also across availability zones. How many maximum partitions? 7. In each partitions, can you have hundreds of, not hundreds. One partition can have hundreds of EC2 instances. So let's take, you have EC2 instances. You have internet in your home? Yes, no? Okay. Tell me what is the speed of your internet? 50 Mbps, 25 Mbps, 125 Mbps. 100 Mbps. Okay, so maximum 150 or maximum 200. Okay. So I'm keeping all in 1A, 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 and 1A. Guys, see here. The speed between in your for you the speed is maximum 200 Mbps. No, the speed between the EC2 instances, how much, you know, in AWS between two EC2 instances, you know how much speed it is? 20 Gbps. How much? If you cluster, if you group the EC2 instances, the speed between these two EC2 instances are 20 Gbps. Just imagine how much speed it will be. That is the benefit advantage of grouping the EC2 instance. So guys, I'm not talking about the traffic which is coming from outside. I'm talking between the EC2 instances within the AWS. Let's say, for example, you have application server, you have database server. Can you group these two EC2 instances? Group it. So the speed between these two things will be super high. So it is not mandatory to use this feature. You have this feature. If you have a requirement, use it. And it is very simple to do it. Just create a group and we are launching the EC2 instance, select the group. That's it. Let's say you're launching 5 EC2 instances. First, what you need to create? Group you need to create. What you need to create? Group. That group can be cluster placement group, spread partition, select whichever, create the group first. And when you're launching the EC2 instance, it will ask, Babu, you want this EC2 instance in some group, then select cluster placement group. And like this 5 or how many EC2s that you want to launch, select that and keep it in the same group. So that is that AWS, what you do, if you create a cluster placement group, AWS will group all the EC2 instances in the same rack, same availability zones in the backend in order to give a good performance. So you tell me, in this placement group, is it good to have same instance type or different instance types? Yes, same instance type. Is it good? You're grouping the EC2 in one T2 micro, one big, one small one. Is it good to group like that? No, it is good to have a same type. So placement group recommend to have same or homogeneous instance type. What is homogeneous meaning? Same. Create a placement group first and then launch the EC2 instances in the placement group. Clear? Is it clear till here online, CC? Offline? Okay. Okay. Now let's go to now very, very important topic. Okay. So partition, Priyank is asking partition. How many partitions you can create? 7. 1, 2, 3. I don't have space. Like this, you can create how many? 7 partitions. And each partitions can have how many EC2 instances? Hundreds of EC2 instances you can have. So, but the problem here is if one partition fails, all your EC2 instances are gone. So based on the requirement, you need to select which model is perfect for you and then use it. Okay, Priyanka. Yes, it is. It's across AZ. Yes. Okay. So Nana, everyone online especially, gear up and then sit properly. As I always say, I know in which positions you are at, especially when you are in at home. Right, in your bedroom, lying down here and there, sleeping, right, and all your kids or your siblings are around. So come out of all these things, lock the door, and then listen this carefully. This topic is really, really, really important. Okay, those who are concentrating, that's good. Those who are not, see, okay, Yasin is in train. See, he's listening this. Nice. Say hello to all your passengers. Okay. So, all right, very good, Nana. So the topic here we're talking about is security groups. What is that? Very, very, very important. So before I talk about the security group, do you remember in our starting days, we learned about something called firewall. What is firewall? Exactly. So firewall meaning which stops unauthorized access to the network. Yes or no? First, I'll write that. So firewall meaning which stops unauthorized access to the network. This firewall here in EC2, we call it as security group. This firewall in EC2, we call it as security group. What does this security group? Now, from now onwards, I don't call it as firewall. I'll be calling it as security group. What does the security group will do? Allow or deny. Allow or deny. So based on my requirement, it will allow. Based on my requirement, it will deny. So what is this? Now, can we say what is security group? Security group stops unauthorized access to the EC2 instance. To the EC2. Now you have the EC2 instance. And who is securing your EC2 instance? Security group is securing the EC2. It is a layer on top of your EC2 instance. If you have one EC2 instance, on top of it, what is the layer is protected? Security group. Similarly, if EC2 is Bahubali, security group is Kattappa. Understood? Right? So your Kattappa is security group, right? And then your EC2 instance is like Bahubali. Remember, if Kattappa compromise, what has happened to Bahubali? Gone or not? Similarly, here also, if security groups compromise, your EC2 instance is gone. So make sure your security group is very, very perfect. So today we are talking about more about Kattappa only. Okay. The today's entire topic is all about Kattappa. And on top of Kattappa also there is one security. Who is that? Who is the security of Kattappa? I mean, who is managing Kattappa? Huh? Who is that? Who is that lady? Shivagamini. Namate Rajamata. Okay. Okay, so we'll talk about Rajamata also. Okay, but let's concentrate on this guy Katapa. Okay, white beard guy. So first of all, what is security group, Nana? I'll write like this. Security group meaning security group stops unauthorized access to whom? EC2 instance. Very good. Security group stops unauthorized access to the EC2 instance. Can we also say security group is used to secure the EC2 instance? Security group is used to secure the EC2. What you're talking about Bahubali story? Okay. So before that, first let me draw one hypnotism diagram. Do you remember that hypnotism diagram? What is the outer layer? Inside it. Let's see. What is the outer layer, Nana? AWS. Inside this region, inside the region, VPC. Inside the VPC, availability, that's are all fine. Between that, we have the topic. What is that? Say that. NACL. After that, we have security group. And after that, we have EC2. And of course, you have availability zone also there. Before security group, we have availability zone. So, Nana, in order to talk to EC2, you need to go with all these things. By now, you'll get to know who is Rajamata here. Who is Rajamata? NACL is Rajamata. Shivagamini. Right? If something has happened to NACL, security group will shout, Tappu chesavu Shivagamini, right? So you have done a mistake. So we'll talk about all these things, right? So, but remember here, let's talk about security group first, then we'll go for NACL. But remember, if I want to talk to EC2 instance, to whom it will hit first? NACL or security group? Arrow mark is going from where to where? Which one will hit first? NACL will hit first, and then it will go to the security group. Who is higher here? NACL is higher than security group. So if I do some kind of politics on NACL level, my entire inside EC2 security, everything is gone. Like how Shivagamini did. Right? So here also, let's talk more about it. Now, see, in other words, can we say security groups act like a firewall to secure the EC2 instance? I'll write that here. Security groups acts like a firewall to secure the EC2 instance. Okay, listen this carefully now. Stop writing. Listen this carefully. No. Because this is the catch which is important. I have the EC2 instance. What is it? Listen this carefully. So this is the EC2 instance. Inside it, I have my application. And assume this is, for example, Windows or Linux EC2 instance, whichever it is. Linux. I have the EC2 instance. With this is a Linux EC2 instance. Inside it, what I have? Application I have. Okay, now. Now, this EC2 instance is secured by what? EC2 instance is secured by? Louder. Online. Put it in the chat. So EC2 instance is secured by security group. Okay. So what is that kingdom called in Bahubali? Mahishmati. Okay. So Mahishmati. So you have that Mahishmati fort. Okay. And entire boundary is blocked or not? Listen this carefully. Right? Entire boundary is blocked. to the fort for the entire fort, we have the boundary and the boundary is blocked. By default, it is allowed a deny. Very good. By default, it is allowed a deny. So as anyone is going inside by default? No, the entire boundary is blocked. That meaning, so here in security groups, we have two types of rules. In the kingdom also, there are two types of, one is going inside and another guy is coming outside. Inside, outside. I call it as inbound rule, outbound rule. What is that? Inbound rule, outbound. Inbound rule meaning what? Who is going inside? Outbound rule meaning who is going outside. You tell me, do I need to more worry about inbound rules or outbound rules? Inbound only, no? Because by default, my inbound rules are allowed at deny. Super catch. Number one. So by default, inbound rules are deny. Outbound rules are deny, allowed. Allowed. Certification questions, right? So by default, inbound rules are deny, outbound rules are allowed. Okay. And also, see, the entire compound wall is completely deny. Nana, if required, let's say to that Mahishmati, Riyaz sir is going inside. Okay. So now, by default, everything is deny. By default, everything is deny. But I called that cute lady, who's that? Someone, right? So I called and I want to come inside, right? Then they can allow me or not? If required, based on the requirement, you can allow, you can go inside. So here, coming to EC2 instance now, if you want to access Linux EC2 instance, what is the protocol that we use? SSH, no? So here in security groups, we need to allow protocols. What we need to allow? Because traffic only going inside, no? Any human being is going inside EC2, no? It's all about traffic. So traffic meaning we are talking about the protocols. Protocols. What is it, Nana? Protocol. So by default, inbound rules are deny. If required, can I send the protocol inside? That is called inbound rule. That is called inbound rule. So I am allowing the protocol. What I'm doing? I am allowing the protocol. So my EC2 instance is Linux EC2 instance inside. So in order to access my Linux EC2 instance, what is the protocol that I need to allow? SSH protocol I need to allow, or I need to create a inbound rule. I need to add a inbound rule. What is the protocol that I need to add? SSH. On which port number? 22. And also on that EC2 instance, I have application to access. What is the protocol used to access my application? HTTP. So in my inbound rules, already SSH is allowed. And what else I need to allow? HTTP also I need. So based on the requirement, I need to allow the protocols in the inbound rule. Okay, now? Right? By default, inbound rules are denied. Similarly, if you're going to shopping mall, while going inside, he'll do massage or not? I mean, check. Security will do all the check, he'll do it, you know. While going outside, will he check it? Because you already checked. That's why outbound rules are allowed. Inbound rules are denied. So you are allowing inside based on a requirement. And you're allowing the same guy will be there inside and you're going sending outside. You understand now? There are two types of rules in security. What are those? Inbound rules, outbound. Louder. Inbound rules. One more time. By default, inbound rules are, outbound rules are. Think and answer. I'm asking one question. The first thing that you get in your mind will be the wrong answer. Huh? Think and answer. I'm asking. Is it possible to deny in inbound rules in security group? Is it possible to deny in inbound rule? I said no. The first thing that you get in your mind is the wrong answer. Is it possible to deny specifically in inbound rule? What is the answer? There are only two answers. You said yes, sir. I said no. The answer is no. Huh? Okay. Nana, that kingdom, Mahishmati kingdom, the outside entire compound wall is blocked or not? Do you specifically block anything else? What are you doing? You are allowing. Is it possible to deny anything? It's already denied everything. It's everything is already denied. In secret group, in inbound rule, we can only allow. Can we deny it? No, because by default it is denied. This is the wall. Everything is, I want to go outside that room, that side I need to go. This is the wall. This is an inbound rule. Assume this wall is a inbound rule. So this wall, everything is denied or not? Everything is denied. By default, everything is denied. Do I need to specifically deny something here? What I need to do? I can only put a hole inside it. Allow. I can only allow. By default, everything is denied. So if I want to allow, based on protocols only, I allow. So what is the protocol that I'm allowing here based on this requirement? SSH. So I'll put a hole into the wall and I'll send SSH. Is it possible for me to separately send SSH as deny? No, by default, everything is denied. In security group, you can only allow. Security group, you can only allow. You're getting it? Let me write what we have discussed till now. Okay. Security groups has two rules. Security group has two rules. What are the two rules now? Inbound rule, outbound rule. Inbound rule meaning which allows the traffic towards EC2 instance. Outbound, which sends the traffic outside EC2 instance. By default, inbound rules are deny. Outbound rules are allow. Is it possible to deny in security group? Is it possible to deny in security group? What is the answer? Answer is no, because by default, inbound rules are inbound rules are denied. In security group, we can only allow protocol or deny protocol. Yes, in security group, you can only allow protocols, not deny. Okay. See, this is the EC2 instance. I have the security group here. This is I have the security group. So by default, these inbound rules are deny, correct? So what I need to allow here? SSH. Based on my requirement, I need to as a protocol, I need to allow. So here, allow what? SSH on port number 22. This is my inbound rules. I need to add the rule. Inbound rules. So another thing I need to allow. Which one? In order to access my application, allow HTTP on port number 80. Okay, now tell me, based on that requirement, based on that scenario, what are the protocols is allowed in the inbound rule? SSH and HTTP. Can you tell me now I want to do RDP to the EC2 instance? Is it possible? No. Why? Why? Oh, okay. Okay. Now let's say for example. Okay. Now that is Windows machine. Assume. Okay. That is a Windows machine. Now is it possible to do RDP to that machine? Yes or no? What are the protocols it's allowed here? SSH and HTTP. Assume that is a Windows machine now. What is the protocol that used for Windows machine? RDP. Now can you tell me Do we have any RDP in the inbound rule? No. Can I log into the EC2 instance? Answer is no, because no inbound rule. What is the inbound rule should be there? RDP should be there. RDP should be there. You getting it? You haven't got. This is the EC2 instance. Which instance? Windows. Every EC2 instance is secured by security group. Now tell me, this is a Windows EC2 instance. In inbound rules, I have only HTTP with port 80. Now tell me, can I log into the EC2 instance? No. What is the protocol that I need to allow? RDP also need to be allowed. Then only you can log into the EC2 instance. Okay. Nice. So do not get confused. I'll write it for you here clearly. No. Okay. Can I say REST are all deny except SSH and HTTP? REST are all deny, obviously, no. What is RDP is used for? Is used to log in or connect remotely to the Windows EC2 instance. And similarly, SSH, Linux EC2 instance. And finally, we have HTTP or HTTPS. This one is used to access the application. So this is the EC2 instance here, for example. So EC2 instance is secured by security group. Security group has two types of rules: inbound rule, outbound rule. Inbound, outbound. So by default, inbound rules are denied. By default, outbound rules are allowed. So what we need to create an inbound rule, whatever is required, then we need to allow that here. SSH, like this. Okay, no? In pictorial format. So every EC2 instance should have at least one security group attached. Yes or no? Can you leave the EC2 instance without security group? It should have at least one security group should be attached. One EC2 instance can have multiple security groups attached? Possible. One EC2 instance can have multiple security groups. You can attach it. And one security group can be attached to multiple EC2 instances? Answer is yes. So one security group can be attached to multiple EC2 instances. Understood? Right? Security groups is like however you want to use it, you can use it. No issues. Okay, now. So one EC2 instance can have multiple security groups? Yes. One security group can be attached to multiple EC2 instances? Answer is yes. So here, every EC2 instance must have at least one security group attached. Nana, can we create multiple security groups? Of course, we can create. You can create multiple security groups and you can attach multiple security groups to the single EC2 instance. One security group can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time. Okay, guys, in AWS, we have something called defaults. Do we have a default VPC? Remember, we have a default VPC. There are a few things. Similarly, like this also, we have a already when you log into the console, when you access the console, when you go to Mumbai and launch one EC2 instance, in EC2 service there will be a default security group will be there. Which one? One security group will be there, because AWS is giving you free, like no, security group is free only. AWS is giving a default security group. Which one? So AWS think that array, you don't do bang your head creating security groups. I'm giving a default security group, use it. Can we create our own security groups? We can create. And but I'll ask you one thing. Is it better to create a new security group, or it is better to use a default security group? Okay, you can create a new security. I'll give the logic first. First of all, let me write. So do we have a default security group? AWS EC2 has a default security group. I'll tell you the logic. Okay. Before that, I created a new security group. Listen this carefully. I created a new security group. By default, inbound rules are allowed at deny. For default security group also, inbound rules are deny. When you create a new security group also, inbound rules are deny. Outbound rules allowed. That is a certification question. A brand new security group, all inbound rules are deny and outbound rules are allowed. Okay. Is this clear till here before I talk about default security group? Online, is this clear, Nana? No, there's no chance, Ashok. Okay, should I tell you? Okay, see here. So now, these are the EC2 instances. How many EC2 instances are there? Why only 4? No space for. But that might be also one question sometimes for people. Sir, why is it only for 4 machines? No, that's why I always say. Okay, now tell me. How many EC2 instances are there? It can be 4 or it can be 40 also. Yes or no? Tell me, how many security groups will you create for this? Okay. How many? You're saying 1. 1 na 4? 1 na 4? I mean, 1 meaning for all 1 na or individual 1 na? All 1 na? Okay. So you have both of the things. I'll tell you. If you create 4 security groups individually, like this, if you create 4 security groups individually like this, security groups will be in, how it look like in console. It doesn't look like how I'm drawing here. If you, on the left side, there will be a menu called security groups, and all security groups will be listed. And you will not know which security group is attached. You will know, but you need to go inside and check which security group is attached to which EC2 instance. It's not clearly visible like how I'm drawing here. Okay. So now I have how many security groups? 4 security groups. Let's say now I want to log into this EC2 instance on SSH. I want to log into the second EC2 instance on SSH. and you went to security groups, to which security group will you add the inbound rule? First security group, second security group, third or fourth? Second security group, no? You should know if you are intelligent, if you are smart, if you are good, if you understand the logic and what I'm teaching, then you will go to that second security group and then you will add the inbound rule there. Many people, what they do is they'll try to add the inbound rule to some other security group and they'll come and saying that, sir, I'm not able to log in. Why? You are adding the rule to some other security group, not to the EC2 instance which was attached. For that reason, until you are comfortable with the security groups, I will not allow you to create multiple security groups. Let's use our default security group. So that default security group will be for your entire, for all EC2 instances, we'll use only one security group. Which security group that we'll be using? Default security. As you have only one security group, you will be doing the inbound rule only for one security group, and all the EC2 instances will be into the same default security group. And you will not any confusion. You will clear all the practicals. Once you are comfortable, once you are habituated, then when time comes, I'll create a new security group for you. Until then, we will be using default security groups only. Just to avoid confusion, I'm going with the default security group. So don't think that, sir, can't we create new? You can create, no issues. But if you get to know which security group is attached to which EC2 instance, where you should do the inbound rules, then you can create. Let's not create it until we are comfortable with it. Okay. And should I tell you in real time, how does it look like? Okay. In real time, extra topic. See, what is this? Very good. This one, EC2 instances. In the backend, we have the, what is this? Databases. Huh? Okay, now. See here. This is load balancer, and these are EC2 instances. And I have application inside it. This one is database. You tell me now, for this requirement, how many security groups will you create? One or how many? One. Okay. So you are saying one security group for all. Is that good? You have your home, big booth bungalow. Is it good to lock only the front door, or will you lock individual rooms also inside it? If here you are a bungalow, then you will lock individual rooms. Here, how about this? In your kingdom also, do we have one? You have compound wall is fine. As you have compound wall, will you live inside everything open? That Rani's Mahal, open, free? No. You understand what I'm saying? So you tell me, is it good to have one security group or multiple security groups? You said multiple. That is correct. How many? So one I have removed. How many? Exactly. How many, Nana? 3. You're getting it. So the problem with going with one security group here is, okay, you tell me here, first of all, load balancer should be in public network or private network? Load balancer. Public. Then only people can connect to it. Your EC2 instance should be in public or private? Database, obviously private. So your load balancer should be public. EC2 instances and database should be private. So let's say you are using only one security group. Load balancer is listening on what protocol? Load balancer. Load balancer should listen on what protocol? HTTP, no? Exactly. What is that? HTTP. But your EC2 instance will listen on HTTP. So why you are having only one security group for all? It's not good. You cannot secure it like that way. So what you need to do is you need to create individual security group for the group for like this. Okay, now, guys, I'm talking about the real time. Okay. And what security group is this? Can I call it as load balancer security group? This one, application security group. This is database security group. I created a security group, but protocols I need to inbound it. Correct? We need to inbound the protocols. Okay, now. So here we have something called listeners. What is it, Nana? You tell me it will listen with HTTP or HTTPS. So for the security group, what is the inbound rules that I need to enable for load balancer security group? Only HTTP and HTTPS. Is it good to enable SSH? Can you log into the load balancer? Is it good to enable RDP? Is it good to enable something else? No, for the load balancer, it is only HTTP, HTTPS. For this guy, security, for application security group, I have EC2 instance. What is the protocol I need to allow here? SSH or RDP or HTTP protocol, if you want to access your application, you can enable separately here. For database, you can enable separately here. Yes or no? Instead of having one security group adding 100 inbound rules, can you have individual security groups and maintain their respective protocols? Yeah, that is the best practice. And in real time, there are many nasty people they will be going with only one security, which is not good. That is not called, that is called, here what we are doing is AWS well-architected framework. What is the word we are using? AWS well-architected framework. Well-architected framework meaning with best practices, we need to set up the entire infrastructure. You're getting it? Okay, now the question is, listen this carefully. Listeners, we know. Now, all these things, this side is everything is internet only, no? Yes or no? Before the load balancer, what is there? Internet only. You and me will be there. Okay. Now, we have something called load balancer. From where it should get access? From where? From where we need to give permissions? What is the source? From where? So we have 3 types of sources. How many types of sources? Custom, anywhere, my IP. Say that. Online. Say that. Custom, anywhere, my IP. So your load balancers should be accessed by whom? Let's say, for example, everyone can access my load balancer. That meaning which one I need to select, which source I need to select? Anywhere. Anywhere meaning everyone in the world can access my load balancer. Load balancer is not my website. If I say custom, only certain people, certain group, or customized network, only this one people can access it. If I say my IP, then only me, that meaning only you. Only one person, that meaning from your laptop only you can access your load balancer. You understand 3 different type of sources? What are the sources we have? Custom, anywhere, my IP. You tell me now, in our course, which one we should use? You have your individual accounts. You will be doing practicals individually. And you tell me, will you enable custom anywhere my API for your practicals? My API only. In real time, it should be anywhere because you're opening your website to everyone. Custom, when do we use? See here. So here the source is what? For load balancer source is what, Nana? For load balancer source is anywhere. Yes or no? Source is anywhere. Okay, that meaning all the people will come to the load balancer and will hit it. Okay, na? From load balancer, it is going to whom? Application security group or not? It is going to the application security. Now tell me, the source should be where? From where the traffic should come from to the application security group? From where? From louder. Load balancer security group. Yes or no? You tell me. So the source should be custom and the source should be ELB SG. Yes or no? Is it good people come directly here, hit here? Only through load balancer, the traffic will come. I'm that allowing only load balancer group. Can anyone come here like this? You understand how I'm strictly architecting it with security? Yes. And you tell me here, what is the source for database SG? Application SG. You're getting it? This is how you architect it. You got this point? Is it clear? See that for 5 seconds diagram. See the diagram, not me, for 5 seconds. Diagram. Online, is this clear for you? Okay, Nana? Offline, all good? Okay. So the question for you here is now, on the right side, it is real time. On the left side one, we will be doing it in our course. Okay. So which is the security group that we should be using in our course? Default security group. Which one? Default security. So how many 10 EC2 instances also you launch? We will attach which security group? Default security. Will you create a new security group? Don't create a new security group. Until we'll create. Until I say don't create it. So one EC2 instance can have multiple security group attached. What is your answer? Answer is yes. Let's say I have 3 EC2 instances here. So individual EC2 instance can have the security group. And commonly also can have a security group. Yes or no? No? What's it? EC2. So one EC2 can have many security groups attached. So one security group attached to many EC2s. So how many sources are there? How many types of sources are there? 3 types. What are those? Nice. Custom, anywhere, IAP. Very nice. Okay. If you allow any inbound rules, do we need to add inbound rules that accept protocols by both EC2 and DB in ELB security group in real time? No. So answer is no. Sarath. Okay, now tell me, here people are accessing this your load balancer on what protocol? HTTP. Does we need to enable database protocols on load balancer? Database protocols can be enabled here, not on the load balancer level. So from here to here, you enable the protocols here and source should be this. Okay. So if you allow any inbound rules, let's say in inbound rule you have allowed SSH. Do you need to allow that on outbound rule also? No, by default outbound rules are allowed. So if you allow any inbound rules, rules, you no need to allow that on outbound rule. Now this is called stateful. What is this called? Louder. What is this called? Our security groups are stateful. Security groups are very important certification question. Security groups are stateful. Security groups are stateful. So what is the meaning of stateful? If you allow any inbound rule, do you need to allow that on outbound rule? No, that is called stateful. So only inbound rules are allowed. Outbound rules by default it is allowed. So that is called stateful. Which are stateful? Security groups are stateful. I'm writing one more statement here. If you allow any inbound rule, you must allow that on outbound rule. I'm saying you must. And this concept is called stateless. What is that? And which one are stateless here? NACLs are stateless. Don't worry, I'll talk about that now. See here, don't write. See here once. If you allow any inbound rules, you no need to allow that on outbound rules. What is that called? Stateful. Which one is stateful? Security groups are stateful. If you allow any inbound rules, you must allow that on outbound rules. That is called stateless. Which one are stateless? NACLs are stateless. So I know that you'll be confusing. Sir, security group stateful or stateless, you'll get confused. I'm giving you one small hint for this. Security, you know security, right? Or army. They're full of energetic or not? Energy or not? So security groups are full. That meaning state full. Remember that. And rest is stateless. So now tell me here, don't see that. Which one is stateful? Security groups are NACLs. Which one are stateless? NACL. Okay, khatam. Remember. Now let's talk about NACLs. That is also let's talk about Shivagamini now. What that she's doing now. You're done writing? NaCl is not sodium chloride. Mahesh is good in chemistry. If he's good in NaCl chemistry, he's good, not in other chemistries. What is NaHCl? Okay, na? Let's move. Let's move to the next topic. Namate Sastam, coming to that, Ashok. Let's talk about NaCl. What is it, Nana? The full form of NaCl is Network Access Control List. What is that? Network Access Control List. Nana, can I say EC2 instance is secured by whom? Security group. On top of it, it is secured by what? NaCl. Which one will hit first? NaCl, security group. NaCl will hit first. So can I say it is another layer of security for EC2 instance? Yes. So it's another layer of security to the EC2 instance. So guys, if you want to tight the security, tight it from NaCl level also. Many people, I'm saying this also. Many people, no one will talk about NaCls. No one will talk about NaCls. Do we have a default security group? Like this also, we have a default NaCl will be there on top level. No one will talk about it because I'll tell you the reason. Nana, for security group, inbound rules are inbound rules are deny. In security groups, inbound rules are deny. But in default NaCl, inbound rules are allowed. That's why no one will is talking about that. If Shivagamini is stopped, then people will start talk about Shivagamini. But Shivagamini is loosened. That meaning inbound rules are allowed. Outbound rules are also allowed. For that reason, no trainer, or I'm not telling anything for others, but thing is, many people, they don't talk about NS. In real time also, they don't care about NACLs because by default inbound rules are Allowed. But we need to talk about that also, no? Let's talk about. So if at all you want to tight the security, can we use NACLs to tight the security? With security groups, you can tight the security. On top of it, you can use NACLs also to tight the security. So can I write it here? If you want to tight the security, go with NACL. Like security group, NACLs also has inbound rules, outbound rules. Like security group also, it has inbound rules, outbound rules. Like security groups, NACL also has inbound and outbound rules. Which one will hit first? NACL will hit first, then security group. Okay, so this is a little bit important. Please try to concentrate. Okay, stop writing. See here. Now, whatever the infrastructure that we are creating, everything should be inside the VPC or outside the VPC. So the first one in this diagram also, what is the first thing we have here? Region, anyways, we select the region. You know how to select it. So, but if you want to set up your infrastructure, first what you need to create? VPC you need to create. But do we have a default VPC? We'll use the default VPC and then we'll start up. Later, when we are comfortable with it, we'll create our own VPC. Until then, we use the default VPC, default security group also we'll use, default NACL also we'll use defaults one. So first of all, we need to have a VPC. Yes or no? First of all, we need to have the VPC. This is a VPC. Bada anda. This is the VPC. Okay, see. When you launch an EC2 instance, IP address will be there. Now, who will provide the IP address? Who will provide the IP address to the EC2 instance? AWS. Yes or no? In KeyPass, we have learned, no? In KeyPass section, IP address, who will provide? Will be provided by? How does AWS know what type of IP address that he should provide to the EC2 instance? Right? Yes or no? Can you tell me one IP address, sample IP address? Tell me. 192. Someone is saying 192 and some other is saying 127 is someone is saying. So that is the ranges, no? Yes or no? 192 is one range, 10 is one range, 127 is one range, something is some range, right? 172 is one range. So basically, these are all the ranges. Now, whenever you're creating a VPC, you need to give that range. So I'm saying here 192.168.00/16. Don't worry about what is /16 and all. /16 we call it as subnet mask. Then that one we'll discuss in VPC section, not here. Okay. So I have created a VPC. I have given the range. Assume this room is a VPC. This big room is a VPC. Now I can utilize the room like this. But what I can do, you take your flat home. You have your home, right? You have your home. Inside your home, what you have? You have bedrooms. Bedroom is a isolated area. It's a common area. Isolated area, no? It's a isolated. So inside your home, consider your home is a VPC. Inside that, you are creating a partitions. Isolated networks, you are creating it. If it is 2-bedroom, you have 2 different bedrooms. And each bedroom here, we call it as subnet. What we call? So in VPC, can we create multiple subnets? In your home, can you create multiple bedrooms? How many bedrooms you have? 2. Why only 2? Space issue. Yes or no? Correct, space. Because your square feet is, let's say 1,200 square feet, for example. If you have 2,000 square feet, triple also you can get, 4 also you will get. So how much big your VPC is, those many subnets you can create it. Yes or no? So can you say subnet is nothing but it's an isolated network inside the VPC? Yes. So instead of keeping it open, I'll keep my own private subnet. So as I don't have space, how many subnets I'll create here? 2 subnets I'll create. I want to call it as subnet 1, subnet 2 I'll create. How many subnets I've created now? So that subnet should be from the same range or not? From the VPC range or not? Yes. So here 192.168 1.0/24. Don't worry about this. I'm putting some random subnets. 2.0/24. These are 2 different subnets I have created from the VPC. Okay now. Remember, certification question. Each subnet is associated to one availability zone. Each subnet is associated to one availability zone. Subnet 1 is associated to 1A. Subnet 2 is associated to, if I have subnet 3, subnet 3 is associated to, louder, 1C. Now if I have subnet 4, and madam, which one? 1D possible. In Mumbai, how many are there? What are those? 1A, 1B, 1C. 1D is possible. We cannot create 1D. Who will create? AWS will. So if I have subnet 4 will sit under which availability zone? 1A or 1B or 1C. So, see, one subnet can be associated to multiple availability zone at the same time. What is the answer? No. One subnet is associated to only one availability zone, right? One subnet can be in multiple availability zone at the same time? No. You got this? Answer this again. One subnet can be in multiple availability zone at the same time? Louder. Answer is no. Again, and one more time. One availability zone can have multiple subnets? Answer is yes. You know, these are all certification questions. One subnet can be associated to multiple availability zones? Answer is no. One availability zone can contain multiple subnets? Answer is yes. I'll write that for you here. So one subnet is associated to one availability zone. One subnet cannot be associated to multiple availability zone at the same time. One availability zone can have multiple subnets. Can have multiple subnets. Is this clear? These 3 points? Certification questions, right? So, okay. Now, in our starting days, we learn where do you launch EC2 instance? Where EC2 instance will be placed in where? In availability zone only, no? So availability zone is associated to the subnet, no? So that meaning indirectly you are launching the EC2 instance in the subnet. Yes or no? You're launching the EC2 instance inside the subnet. Getting it? No. Yes. See this. Stop writing. Stop writing. See this. Please expect few more minutes. Okay. And don't leave the class, guys. Important. If you miss this topic, from no one you will understand this topic. I bet if you go to that Udemy, YouTube, you need to scratch your head. Because based on experience, I'm telling it. Okay, see. Now, you understand till here? I have a VPC and I have the subnets. Okay. And your EC2 instance will be inside the subnet. And each subnet is associated to availability zone. Okay, now? Now, what has happened is, and this EC2 instance will have security groups or not? Yes, it has. Okay. Some hacker started hacking your environment. Let's say on SSH is hacking. In order to stop this, what will you do? Think and answer. He is hacking with SSH to your EC2 instance. To your EC2 instance, he is hacking with SSH. You want to stop that SSH. What will you do? In security group, how to stop that traffic? So in security group, remove SSH. In security group, remove SSH. If some thief is coming into your Mahashmati kingdom, what will you do if you know? Yes or no? Kill it. Here also, if someone hacker is coming with SSH, what will you do? Block in the security group. You will block at the compound level. You'll block at the compound level. Yes or no? So here, but you said on the security groups, you go and remove the inbound rule. Inbound rule SSH, you need to remove it. You got this point. In inbound rule, we add the SSH. No, that's why he has logging in. If you remove that SSH, can he able to log in? No, he cannot log in. So you have removed the SSH. But how many security groups will be there? So many, no? By the time you go and remove one by one SSH in all security group, that hacker will come and whatever he want, he will hack and he'll go. Yes or no? But you want to do it individually or you want to do for the group level? NACLs will come here. Which one? NACLs will come. This NACL is not for individual EC2 instance. It is for your entire subnet. NACL is for your entire subnet. I told you, NACL also has inbound rules, outbound rules. And very good thing is, in NACL, you can deny the protocol. In security, can you deny? In NACL, you can deny. So the entire subnet, here I have NACL. I create one NACL here for this and this. Now one NACL is attached to one subnet. Yes or no? One subnet is associated to one NACL. Yes or no? The entire subnet is associated to the NACL. Now what I do? I'll go and deny SSH on the NACL level. If I deny it on NACL level, on the entire subnet, if I have thousands of EC2 instances also in that subnet, for everyone SSH is denied. Instead of going to each and individual EC2 instance security group, I'll block it on the NACL level. So NACL is EC2 instance level or subnet level? Security groups are EC2 instance level or subnet level? This is a certification question. So security group are for EC2 instance level and NACLs are for subnet level. Understand? So that is a very big logic. Please try to understand. So security groups is EC2 instance level, whereas NACL is subnet level. NACL is subnet level. You got this enough? So do we have a default NACL? Yes. For default NACL, inbound rules, outbound rules are allowed or deny? Allowed. But whenever you create a new NACL, inbound rules are allowed or deny? Deny. For default NACL, it is allowed. But whenever you create a new NACL, that will be very strict. Inbound rules are, outbound rules are denied. You got this point. NACLs is for entire subnet. Oh, you tell me now. One subnet can be in multiple NACLs at the same time? Logically think. One subnet can be in multiple NACLs at the same time? Answer is no. One subnet is associated to only one NACL. This subnet can be associated to multiple NACLs. Huh? It will get confused or not? So one subnet is associated to only one NACL. One NACL can have multiple subnets? Possible. You got that point. One subnet is associated to only one NACL. So one NACL can have multiple subnets? Answer is yes. I'll write it here. One subnet is equal to one NACL. One subnet should not be associated to multiple EC2, multiple NaCls. One NaCl can have multiple subnets associated. So don't worry about the spelling mistake, one word, letters, huh? In speed I'm writing. Okay, see here. See here. Assume this is the EC2 instance. I'm putting one scenario, tell me the answer. Huh? This is a EC2 and which is Linux. This EC2 instance is secured by security group. EC2 instance secured by security. On top of it, what we have? Very good. On top of it, you have the NaCl. In security group, what I did was SSH I have allowed. In NaCl, SSH denied. Can you tell me, can I log into the EC2 instance? What is your answer? Can I log into the EC2 instance? Answer is no, because it is blocked on the NaCl level. Getting it? Is this clear till here, everyone? So do you understand the difference between security group and NaCl? To make it even more easier, in our childhood, we used to write the differences, no? Huh? Difference, putting the line this side. Huh? So security group and then NaCl. Guys, I'm putting little bit effort to write to make you understand. Okay? You tell me here. So in security group, we have inbound rules and outbound rules. In security group, we have inbound rules and outbound. In NaCl, we have inbound rules, outbound rules. Answer is yes. Do we have a default security group? Do we have a default NaCl? Here also we have a default NaCl. Getting it? Spelling mistake, huh? That's fine. Fast. Okay. So now, which one will hit first? NaCl. Security group will hit after NaCl. Here, NaCl will hit first and then security group. By default, inbound rules are denied. Here by default, inbound and outbound rules are super. Okay. Can you deny in security group? You cannot deny on security group. Can you deny on NaCl? Yes, on NaCl, you can deny and allow also. Security groups are which level? Security groups are, yes, security groups are EC2 instance level. NaCl? NaCls are subnet level. If you create a new security group, all inbound rules are? If you create any new security group, inbound rules are? Deny. And outbound rules? Here, if you create a new NaCl, inbound rules are new NaCl, deny. Inbound and outbound rules are deny. So security groups are stateful or stateless? Security groups are stateful. NaCls are? What is the meaning of stateful? If you allow any inbound rule, you no need to allow on outbound rule. This one, if you allow any inbound rule, you must allow on outbound rule. One last certification question here. If you do any changes in security groups NACL, will it be immediately affected or will it take time? It will get immediately affected or it will take time? You said the answer, let me put the logic. In security group, I have SSH. And some hacker is hacking, I want to remove SSH. I removed it. Will it take time to get affected? By the time it takes time, hacker will come and do the work. So that meaning, whenever you do any modifications on NACLs and security group, will it be immediately affected or will it take time? Immediately affected. So that is for security groups and NACL. If you do any changes on security group and NACLs, it will immediately get applied. Is this clear, Nana? I'm putting this much effort. You're not saying thank you also. Well, thank you. So, because this will really helpful, because not only you, your next generation kids will also can learn from my paints. If you just see the paint, you will able to easily understand the topic. You don't need to dig your brain to understand the topic. Read it, you will understand. That's the reason why I'm putting this much effort to write everything there. Okay. Don't worry on that. So in NACLs, we have something called order, Nana, rules. 0, 1, 2, 3 priorities. Which one will get priority? 0 or 1? 0 will get. So whatever the rule that you have in the 0th level, that will get impacted, not the 10th one. Ashwin. Okay, so I took a little bit extra time. So I think that worth. Any questions, Nana? Who is maintaining subnets? We need to maintain the subnets. We need to create the subnets and we need to maintain. Simonto. Okay, take the screenshots. Done. And the next one. Okay. And the next. Yes, we have class on Monday. Why? What happened? When is Diwali, Baba? Sunday. Now, what will you do on Monday? Will you sweep in front of the house, all the crackers? Huh? Monday we have class. And next, last. Okay, Nana? Okay, good. So, second slide, take it. Did I told you? Today's important topic, right? So it's important or not? Very, very, very important because it is related to the security. So without security, there is no AWS. So if you want to maintain the your infrastructures to secure, these concepts are very important. So those who have missed the classes, I'm sure they have the videos. In videos, please take time and then cover this topic. Okay. And then on Monday, we'll go to the next important topic. Or mostly next week, we'll start the practicals. Because I told you EC2 is a very big topic. I should not leave each and everything because you know, right, how deeper we are going it. Each and every minute also we are learning. So similarly on Monday or a couple of days, we'll go with a few things and then we'll start practicals. Okay. No? Can you give the final CC for today, please? Okay. So that is all, guys, for today. And I'll see you on Monday with the next important topic. Until then, take care. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. And have a nice and safe Diwali. Thank you. Bye-bye.